Hey everyone, it's Gas Limit. Today I'll show you how you can fork a blockchain using Foundry and Anvil to test your contracts on your front end. My goal is to send USDC to my wallet address so that I can use it for my contract testing. And after, I'll show you it works by bringing up my USDC balance on a front end. So the first thing we want to do is we want to grab a RPC URL from chainlist.org. So you're going to choose a network and then grab a RPC URL. So next I'm going to assume that you have a Foundry project set up, and if not, there's already a bunch of really good guides on YouTube, and you can read the Foundry book as well. First, we're going to go into our terminal, and we're going to make a local variable called fork URL, and we're going to make it equal to the RPC URL that you've copied. Then hit enter, and then after that, we're going to run an Anvil command that actually starts the fork. So it's going to be Anvil and the flag dash dash fork dash URL. And then you could do $fork URL. And then I use the flag dash dash port. I make the custom port 9001. And then I use chain ID. So I set up a custom chain ID and I'm going to set it to 1337. And then I hit enter. And after that, you could see that your fork has been successfully deployed. And up here, I have the contract that I'll use to have a test account swap a bunch of ETH for USDC using Uniswap v2. I'm going to have the following code in a GitHub repo in the description if you wanted to clone it. So quickly, I'm going to go over this contract. So up here we have the interfaces for interacting with these contracts, the Uniswap v2 router and the IERC20 interface. And then this contract is going to be called swap and send. Here I hard-coded the address of the router. Here is the address of the USDC contract. And then here is the address of the wrapped ether contract. And here we have a function called swap and send. It takes a recipient address as its argument, and it's going to be payable because we're going to be swapping ether for USDC. And then here we have the path that you need to define for Uniswap v2 swaps. And then after we have the function call swap exact ETH for tokens. This is the amount that we're going to be sending in. This is going to be the minimum amount out. We're just going to put 0 because we're on a test net. Here we're going to use path as the argument for the swap path. Address.this is going to be the receiving address, this contract. And block.timestamp plus 15 is just the deadline for this swap. And then here we're going to store the balance of this contract's USDC. And then this last line is going to be, we're going to transfer the USDC to the recipient address. So now that we've gone over that, we can open up a new terminal so that we can go ahead and deploy this contract to our forked mainnet. So I'm going to use the following forge command to deploy this. We're going to use forge, create, and then the title of the contract is swap and send. And then we're going to use the flag private key. So we're going to grab a private key that Foundry gives us, or Anvil gives us, for like some test accounts is already loaded with like 10,000 ether already. So we're going to grab any of them, but we'll use the first one. And then we're going to paste that in there. And then after, we're going to use our fork as the RPC URL. So we're going to use RPC URL, then localhost 9001, then hit enter. So you could see that the contract was deployed. This is the contract address. It should be the same for you too. So now that we have that done, let's go over our script that we're going to run so that our test account can swap and send the USDC to a given address. So this is a script I've made. Um, so there's going to be the run function that every script needs. This is going to be the contract address that we get after we deployed. This is going to be the recipient, so grab the wallet address of the wallet that you're going to use to test your front end. And then this calls the function, well, this initializes the contract swap and send. This is the amount of Ether that we're going to swap for some USDC. Here we start the broadcast, and here we're calling the function swap and send. The value that we're going to use for this payable function, 100 Ether, and then here is the recipient of this function. Now let's go ahead and run this script. It's going to be a forge script, then in the directory script, and the file is going to be call swap and send.s.sol, and we're going to use the contract name call swap and send with the RPC URL flag and your localhost address. And then we're going to use -- broadcast, and then we're going to use -- private key, which should be the private key that you've grabbed from the list of test accounts. So let's go ahead and run it. All right. It looks like we successfully ran it. So now let's check our USDC balance of the wallet that we've sent it to. So we're going to use the command cast call, then our RPC URL flag, then put in your localhost address, and then here is the address of USDC, and here's the method that we're going to call balance of, and then here is the wallet that we're going to be querying. So let's hit enter, and here you could see that we now have a USDC balance. Now let's go into MetaMask to set up our local fork. So let's open it, go down to add a network, and if not, you might have to enable test networks. So then go down and hit add network manually. So let's put a network name. I'm going to name it ETH fork. And as the RPC URL, let's do HTTP localhost 9001. And for the chain ID, we're going to use the chain ID that we've used. Then you could just put in ETH here, then hit save. And it's been added successfully, so let's hit switch to ETH fork. So now we've successfully connected to our local fork. So now let me show you that this works by spinning up a front end I made to display the USDC balance, just using React. So here we see our USDC balance, our account that's connected, and the USDC balance that I've successfully added on our fork. So let me double check. Yep, 3455834. All right. I hope this video helped you. You should now be able to test your contracts on your front end, and thank you very much for watching.